When I had a show on Sirius, someone said, "You look like Adam 22," and I said, "Who is that?" I didn't know.
I get compared to
And then
every
they
white
showed
guy
me.
with tattoos.
What's that?
If you're white and you have tattoos, people will compare me to you.
Yeah, because that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have hair.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It's fake.
I'm missing it.
I got it implanted into my head.
Did you really?
He became so much less scary since he's developed hair.
2 hair transplants.
I would not be willing to do this podcast with you and sit across from you week after week if you were still bald.
The skinhead thing was a lot.
It was so much.
Yeah.
And I want to reiterate again, Mr. Ellis, I did not mean any disrespect when I was imitating your comedy. It was I wanted to play around with my Australian accents, and you did say a good deal about tallywhackers in the caboose, and that's all that popped into my head.
I mean, it was only a 10-minute set, so I could only do one of my jokes. And to answer your question, because you said, I'm not sure if he has any more than that, it kind of seems like that's his whole life is talking about.
Well, I was just wondering, like, how
fucked.
you approach that.
I'm just adding the 2 times I've been involved with you. In the first show, it was like, why would I do it? I'm not sure what. Like, even
We got
your
to do
fans,
this again. We got to do this again.
Your fans were bummed at you. I
They
didn't
were.
read
My
it,
fans were mad at me.
but I did think that you were, because I know that you do stuff only for money. You say
This is not true. What are you talking
that's
about?
what you were telling me. You were like, why would you do comedy if you're not going to get a bunch of money?
No, this is my question, was what was driving you to want to get into comedy? And I felt like you weren't really answering the question.
Right. So what is it that you think I'm doing it for?
That's what I want to know.
You have no idea.
But you still haven't given me an answer.
Wait, but I thought I said because I loved it. It scared me and I don't have to go to hospital if I fail.
You said that it scared you, and that you felt like you were confronting, something that you were intimidated by doing. And my response was basically like, there's a ton of stuff that I'm intimidated by doing. I wanted to know exactly why you were doing it. Like, what you felt it was fulfilling in your life. Somehow that got construed as like an attack, which I really didn't feel like I was doing. Now it's possible that I was wrong. Maybe if I rewatched
you're not taking my answers. You're like, no, what is the real reason? Like it kind of seems like you're saying that I'm not being honest with why I'm doing comedy.
I just feel like it's scaring you. It can't be the whole answer. Because there's a lot of things that are scary. Why don't you go run with the bulls?
Well, that's easy. I'm hurt.
I'd enjoy that.
All I ever do is stuff where I get hurt.
I'm just saying, I don't think that's a complete answer. There's got to be a little bit more.
Tell me another thing that's scary that if you do it wrong, you don't go to hospital. Tell me one.
Ballet dancing.
Masturbating in front of a kindergarten.
Exactly.
Right.
That's lame.
No, but ballet dancing is like,
lame.
Become a professional bowler. I bet you're gonna be
want
so nervous every time before you go out there to bowl.
I don't like bowling. I don't care.
Right. Everybody likes talking in front of large groups of people. I guess.
Man, it just seems like I'm fucking old, and I want to do something that's scary and a challenge.
All right, Mr. Foulmouth there. I think we're past the 5
We're
minutes.
way
said
past
shit.
that. Yeah. We're swearing now.
I just kind of, all my friends did it. And I was like, why don't I try it again? I felt really bad at it, and then I figured something out, and I was like, I can work on this and be a million times better than I am right now, creating. And it scares me.
I feel like this
and
is a better
challenge.
answer than what I got on the first podcast.
I feel like it's the same answer.
I feel like it's a lot more in depth.
Maybe it was because you kept going with the money thing. You kept saying that if there's no money, why do it?
I was speaking on a personal level of why I wouldn't pursue comedy.
Yeah.
Is because I don't really see how it could be a good business for me, even if I became fairly successful at it in comparison to YouTube creation.
Yeah, well, you're very successful. I'm not. I'm failing. I was 10 times bigger than all of you assholes, and now I'm falling off the cliff like an old piece of shit.
Do you feel like that?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Like you're.
I can't believe you had me on here.
Really?
This will
What's
do
happening?
the worst numbers you've had.
You're the
out of all
first
your
comedian
shows.
that we've ever had on here.
What's happening with your career? How is it falling off a cliff?
Because he was on Sirius
Yeah,
XM
Sirius
radio
shot
for all
me.
those years.
And I had I was making a lot of money,
How much were you making?
like $1 million a year, maybe more.
That's a good amount of money. And did you save your money wisely?
No. I had a divorce, so I gave my ex-wife all the money, and then when I finally paid off her and the back taxes from not paying back taxes because I was paying her,
There were a couple of years where you
then I
weren't
got
paying.
fired.
You weren't paying any taxes for a couple of years while you were
Well, I
paying
had
off
to
your
pay
ex-wife.
her half of my money, so I couldn't pay taxes. Mm-hmm. And then I paid her, and then I paid back taxes. Like every month I had to give a little bit because I obviously didn't have it all. And then once I got a clean slate, my business manager's like, you are officially in the clear. Like you have money in savings. And it was the first time in my whole career that I had money in the bank and no debt.
How much did you have in savings at that point?
Probably like $500,000.
Good amount of money.
Yeah. And then I spent all that on podcasting.
On equipment, cutting edge stuff. You were slamming your cameras.
I spent it on studios and paying for promos because the company that I was working for didn't do promos, so I paid somebody else separate.
What are promos?
Like for Instagram.
Like highlight reel clips to post on Instagram?
Yeah.
You spent $500,000 on this?
Well, no, just that's one of the things.
Oh, okay.
Just spent all my savings on trying to make it work.
And you feel like it's not working?
Not really. I mean, it's doing okay. It's not bad, but it's not doing what I expect it to do. It's pretty average.
Interesting.
What's average? How many views per podcast?
Well, a good one is 250,000, but the bad ones are like 40. And I'm like, dude, 40.
But which ones do bad? Because like for us, I do interviews all the time with people that'll get like 40K if it's just not somebody that has like a real viral hook to bring people in.
Oh, really? You do?
Yeah.
I feel way better.
The thing is, though, he does.
Yes, I'm not joking. I feel so much better about my life.
He does 20 pieces of content a week, though, minimum. So one that does 40 is a little bit less of a big deal.
But a lot of the underground rappers, I'll do them and they'll get 40K and then they'll have $500,000 a couple of years later or whatever. So it's all kind of long
when they pop off.
But then sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I still don't understand it exactly, like how podcasting works. I feel like a lot of my fans are the old Sirius XM fans who still find podcasting to be
Confusing.
Yeah. Like, how do I do what do you mean download? I'm like, click it, touch it with your finger and it'll play.
Unlike you, we have never met a Sirius XM subscriber in real life, right?
I've tried multiple times to subscribe to satellite radio, and I can't figure it out, and I just stop.
Well, you're not
it's
missing out.
that bad of a business
I've
model.
never even considered that. I've had a few rental cars back in the day that had it like pre-installed.
That's what they're made for.
Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern on
Cars.
deck.
You
I
buy
would be
a car
listening to
and you
Shade
get it.
4-5, the
Yeah.
Eminem station.
That makes sense.
Just-
Rude Jude.
I didn't know what the fuck to listen to, so
Jude's
I figured
awesome.
I'd just check that out.
Yeah, Jason, I think the beauty of this business, and I wish we could have made this obvious earlier to you, is that you can get started with such a little investment. It's not like opening a bakery, or it's not like trying to start your own law firm where you need to buy office space or pay rent or anything. I started my YouTube channel with a cell phone. And there
but
was no
this is-
upfront investment.
This is fucking Carson Daly over here, who's been used to the lush lifestyle of being supported by Sirius XM and treated like gold and just brought through the town square in a gold throne.
They never did that. Like they really didn't.
But I'm assuming you felt like you didn't want to just start with a fucking wood table in the corner of a plain room or whatever.
Yeah,
His studio is in the basement of his house. It's a good studio, but it's not like anything super crazy.
Yeah. Well, I had to move and then buy and then get a new studio. So that costs a bunch of money again because I don't know how to set up studios.
Yeah,
I'm real bad at
me
that.
neither.
So there's just and then we had to move podcast production companies because those guys weren't doing anything. And now we have these guys that are, telling me that they're going to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm giving it a go again. Back to scratch though. We have to go back to we have to wait till next year to get reads again because we left at the very end of the year. So it's a bit of a struggle. The Patreon for the Jason Ellis Show does really well.
Really?
What do you make in a month?
Like, am I supposed to just say that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Like,
I wouldn't.
Really?
I don't say it.
Oh, well then,
Well,
yeah.
I did.
That's because you're
I do-
vastly successful and it's ostentatious.
For how big the podcast is, the Patreon is really big.
Nice.
This has been a clip from my new podcast, Sledgelords with Danny Mullen. We're dropping a new episode every week, so either hit the link in the description or search up the Adam22 channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys.